Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Good Karma Success Coach podcast. I'm your host, Melinda Van Fleet, and thank you so much for joining me this week. I am in the best mood. I just had a ginormous bowl of buttered noodles with angel hair pasta thrown in because I actually didn't think I had enough noodles. With a lot of Parmesan cheese, like that, the good Parmesan cheese when it's like shredded. Is that what I think I got it right? Shaved, not grated, but yeah, some really nice fresh Parmesan cheese. And I actually took my time and really appreciated my buttered noodles. And I have to say that this appreciation of food is not something that I grew up having. I don't think I'm alone, so not throwing shade to my family or anyone else's. But we always just ate to eat. We ate fast, we got it done. It was just like check it off the to-do list. And unfortunately, like with any habits, when you grow up like that, like it just kind of becomes part of how you are. And Ryan's the same way. So again, I think this is common. I don't think this is uncommon, and no shade to families. But it's something that I'm trying to be a little more present about in terms of just really appreciating and enjoying my food. And buttered noodles is one of my very favorite things in the world. And once in a while, I treat myself when I feel like having buttered noodles, I have them. It's not every day. It's when I get this inkling that, gosh, I really want some buttered noodles. And today was the day. So as I was enjoying my buttered noodles and being grateful for my buttered noodles and putting some intentions behind my buttered noodles, it led me down this path of remembering when I was a kid, my great grandma. And she would take care of me on occasion, either by myself or with my brother and sister, who are younger than me. And my brother's in heaven, and my sister is 5 years younger than me. I'm the oldest. And sometimes when I was by myself, she would make me the buttered noodles, and then she would give me a permanent. And I can't repeat it exactly as in her like tone and her tone of voice, but a permanent, meaning like a perm for your hair. And I loved those days when she would give me a permanent and we'd have butter noodles. And my mom made butter noodles too, and my grandma made butter noodles, but something about my great grandmother making me buttered noodles, like, just brings tears to my eyes. It was just one of the warmest memories of being a kid. And I'm so lucky I got to know my great grandma. She passed away from throat cancer when I was a junior in high school. And we had been on vacation in Wisconsin, Lake Lawn Lodge, and she started coughing at dinner. And immediately I was like, oh, she has throat cancer. No one else in my family like knew right away. I just knew. My intuition's always been there, I guess. And I knew, and she didn't struggle for very long. But yeah, that's how she passed away. So I'm very lucky I got to know her. And yeah, if I think about it, my sister, she's being 5 years younger, doesn't have all those memories that I have. So anyhow, where I'm going with this is having spiritual habits. And understanding that if you don't have any, you're going to be okay. So I want to talk about both sides of the coin here, because something Sienna and I have talked about before, and we actually just had this conversation, so this is kind of all going together, is with everything out there online, all the access to tools we have, all the access to channeled content, books, YouTube videos, podcasts like this, articles. I follow several Medium writers that write about manifestation and law of attraction and all those things. And you can get into a headspace of, if you're not doing some of these things that, quote unquote, you may be a bad person or unprotected it could give you anxiety. You may think that just magical things aren't going to happen for you. Like, you can go all sorts of directions with this thought process, right? And I just want to tell people, like, it's just not true. God always has your back, whether you think of God, the universe, spirit team, your angels, your ancestors, however you want to put it. Like, I'll just call it God for this concept of this podcast, the context of this podcast. You're always protected. And I was talking to Stan about this, like, it's kind of like we all have a cake, and everyone's recipe to bake the cake has been different in their life so far, or even in their soul's journey, if you believe, like I do, that we've lived many lives, thousands of lives, before being in this human body, in this experience. And so all of our cakes are different. They're just different from all these things, right? And then when you put into effect like spiritual habits, spiritual practices, it's just like icing. And then maybe you have some sprinkles, and then maybe you have some decoration, and maybe you have some flowers. Like, you're making a cake. Like, there's no right or wrong to your cake. Your cake is your cake. And every cake is unique and different. Like, some people may like a cake that's, vanilla with strawberry fruit filling and then chocolate layer, a very traditional type of wedding cake, right? Like, or a bouffant frosting. Like, there's so many different types of cake, and there's no wrong way to make your cake. It's just your cake. On the other side of the coin is, if you wish to have some spiritual practices, spiritual habits, or up level what you're already doing, which is kind of where I'm at, obviously, with my buttered noodles story, right? Think about really where you can put these in your day, and then how you can remind yourself, because those are the two challenges, I would say, is number one, like remembering. That's really hard for us humans, is like remembering to do something, right? Remembering. And then number two, like, when? 9 times out of 10, when someone likes to meditate and they feel, that they can do it, because sometimes someone will say, I can't do it. I can't get my brain to be quiet. Okay, so let's say they're okay with that. But then they don't do it. The reason why, they often say, is because they don't have time. I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time. I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to journal. I don't have time to go for a walk. I don't have time to hug a tree. I don't have time to get grounded in the earth. I don't have time to pray, whatever. Well, newsflash, everyone on this planet has time for the things they really wish to make time for. Let's get grounded in that. Again, everyone on this planet has time to make time for the things they really want to make time for. It is true. It's just true. If you wish to make time to have dinner once a week with your husband, you figure it out and you make the time. Everything else is just an excuse. Truly, it's just an excuse. Does that mean that dinner has to be 2 hours long at the most expensive restaurant in town? No, it can be 15 minutes with a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's still dinner, right? It's whatever you put around there as your idea. Same thing with like meditation. Same thing with taking a walk. It could be 15 minutes around your yard. You're taking a walk, right? Don't overthink it, people. But put a plan together and put it in your day. Put it in your day. I did a time management, time maximization series on crushing sales, and gotten great responses. It's been really awesome to look at. And the top episode so far, and granted, there's one a week, so you can look at it in terms of, some different numbers and some different factors, is the complacency one. Are you just being comfortable? Are you being complacent, right? Well, here's a way to get out of that, is freaking ask for help. Dear God, how can I make my day more productive? Please help me. Show me some signs. have some things drop into my lap. Ask for help. So now you're combining having a new spiritual habit or taking a spiritual habit to another level, if you're already someone who prays, and ask for help to get out of being in a comfort zone. Use the tools to make the best cake that you can possibly make. Why not? Why not? It blows my mind. Literally, I'm sure I'm not alone with other spiritual teachers or even just people that love to, use the tools and embrace them and are grateful for them. Like, blows my mind how many people don't use tools. I heard, gosh, who was it? Maybe T. Harv Eker years ago. I love this. And I might botch this up a little bit, so please forgive me because it has been several years since I heard this, but it just came to me, so I'm going to share it. He says in an affirmation, if it's not T. Harv Eker, it could be James Wedmore. That's another one too. And again, it's been a couple years, but here we go. The affirmation is, please send me the things that other people have not taken advantage of, right? So if someone else gets a sign, gets a gift, a breadcrumb, and they ignore it, right? They ignore it. Give it to me. Give it to me. I'll take it. I'll be grateful. I'll take it. I think that is freaking genius. It is so genius. So even remembering to say that like once a day, once a month, once a week is like an extra little bit for your cake, right? An extra little bit for your cake. And then something like magical could happen and you're like, oh my gosh, like I would have never thought of that. That's so cool. Yes, more please. And there you go. Thank you. Thank you. And also remembering to be grateful. That's the most powerful thing you have is gratitude. It truly is. And remembering to use gratitude to shift out of a funk, out of anxiety, out of a stressful situation, something that you're, an altercation you're having with someone, or just you're in traffic and it's annoying. Like just shifting to gratitude, another spiritual habit. But that piece goes into the remembering bucket, right? So again, you have two things. You have to remember, and then the other one is you have to make time for it if it's something that requires a little bit of time. So I really want you to sit with this. This is a huge podcast in terms of what I just covered in a very short amount of time. Just really sit with it. Like, how are you doing? How are you doing with this? Where do you fall with these things I just talked about? Are you someone that's struggling and feeling guilty, which is a low vibration? I mentioned that on the interview with my niece Sienna, episode 202. Or maybe you're not doing enough and you want some icing and sprinkles and decorations on your cake. Extra layer of fruit, another layer of the cake. Look at all those fun cakes on Pinterest, right? Oh my goodness, so many fun cakes. Like imagine the type of cake you can make by just up-leveling your spiritual habits. So that's it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. I would love to hear your thoughts and comments. You're always welcome to email me, melinda@melindavanfleet.com. We can also talk about one-on-one coaching if you are interested. If not, no worries. I just really hope that people embrace podcasts and books and webinars and all the things. Not just from me, from everybody. I mean, there's just so much great information out there, and I just really feel that people are consuming and they're not really embodying. And I'm going to keep talking about that because, if one person each podcast can really take some of these tools and use them. I've paid thousands and thousands of dollars for coaching people and books and webinars and courses. Like, hello, I'm a wealth of information. Use it. I just gave it to you for free. Please use it so you can live the best life that you can possibly live. Until next time, be grateful, be curious, always be learning, and you know what? Have some fun too. Connect on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, or Instagram. I'll put all this information in the show notes. Thank you for listening.